So today I want to share 5 culture shock moments in the Filipino workplace that completely changed the way I led and work. And more importantly, why these 5 might make you want to change your strategy as well. Hey everyone, this is Gilsar Vergara. Welcome back to the channel. I am a business consultant here in the Philippines. Presently, I am based in Davao, but I have lived throughout the Philippines. So after years of working in the US, I moved back to the Philippines with big plans to build, lead, and grow. But nothing could have prepared me for the real learning curve I had to go through while working here in the Philippines with its work culture here. So today, I want to share 5 culture shock moments in the Filipino workplace that completely changed the way I led and work. And more importantly, why these 5 might make you want to change your strategy as well. So number 1, time is relational, not rigid. So let's talk Filipino time. I've spoken about it in regular daily life. If you plan to have something at 3 o'clock, you better invite people at 1 o'clock to try to get there by 3 o'clock, to be honest with you. Now, in the workplace, I would have to say that it hasn't really changed, to be honest with you. People, to a good degree, come to work on time. Many are very responsible because, it's our bread and butter for the most part. Like, in the US, 9 a.m. really means 8:45 for me. But here, it could be 9:15 or later. At first, I took this as unprofessional, but I learned quickly in the Philippines, time is flexible because relationships are prioritized over efficiency. Don't get me wrong. When I say this, people aren't late because they don't care, generally. Some people just don't care. But generally speaking, the population here, people don't mean to be late because they don't care. For the most part, and it's happened to me as well, they're late because they could be involved in a deep conversation or an interaction with a friend, with a family, significant other, or because life just got in the way. As of recent, I'm very rigid with time because, I grew up in a Western culture. So it was having heavy rains here. What ended up happening, some people wanted to work from home and some people were coming in late. So here, most Filipinos will say, okay, I understand. I totally get it. Get here safe, which is fine. For me, I basically told them, going forward, I would like you to be proactive. If you think that it might rain, or just as a basic practice, look at the forecast. If it is going to rain, heavy or light, make arrangements where you're leaving early from the house. Do everything you can to be as proactive as possible. But as much as I want to have that in good practice, some people still haven't adjusted to that particular mindset. Not that they don't care, it's that they're putting things in front of them in their mind a bit more important. Like when I say in their mind, I don't mean to offend anybody, but as in their safety. They don't want to get out there and drive. I have some, coworkers that have 4x4s, but they refuse to run through the town and go to the office because it's in heavy rain and things like that. So when people are late within your organization, you kind of have to ask those, discovery questions as to why, and balance the interaction with, I want you to be proactive next time, as well as do the best you can to be here on time and be consistent. And because I'm very upfront with everyone. I'm the type of person that reads patterns. If it happens more than 2 or 3 times, then you're probably doing it on purpose and you don't have respect for the business. So being in business here, I try to meld the 2 cultures, but back to number 1, time is relational. It's not rigid here. So when you first start doing business here, you have to really understand that some employees that you're going to have are not going to have the same time constraints or time discipline that you're used to. So that's number 1. Just to segue this in there. So I've made some adjustments aside from the ones I provided. I build in a buffer time. So I really tell people and I give them best practices. If they're supposed to be here at 8 or 9 in the morning or 9 in the evening, in my case, I tell them it's best practice, be here by 8:45 so you can go through things, make sure your computer, your workstation is good. If there's any IT issue, you can deal with it before your shift starts. But once again, you should communicate expectations clearly, but with empathy. And one thing that helped me kind of like go over my particular hump is that I stopped measuring respect with punctuality. To some extent. Altogether, that shift in mindset and perception lowered my stress, and I started building more alliances with my staff or with the people I work with. Number two, this is kind of universal. Titles matter, but humility overall matters more. In the American workplace, casual is normal. First names, open door policies, even calling the CEO by their nickname. But here, titles are a big thing. Sir, ma'am, attorney, doctor, mayor, engineer. Anything that has titles is consistently held in high regard. So at first, I thought, coming from New York and everything's just open out there. At first, I thought that this formality would create distance, right? That's what I initially thought. But I realized that it's just respect rather than ego. As in, like, man, don't get me wrong. If somebody tells me, like, hey, John, how are you? And the person goes, that's Dr. John, I'm not going to respect you at all. I'll be honest with you. I'm just not. I might get some flack for that. But for me, that's all ego. Now, if I knew you were a doctor, I'll call you doctor. But don't approach me that way where, no, it's attorney so-and-so, it's engineer so-and-so. No. It's not going to fly with me, I'll be honest with you. But here, it's very commonplace, and it is what it is here. Understand that it's more respect than ego at the end of the day. Now, the key thing that I found was to balance authority with approachability. So here's what I do when I encounter these issues. Not really so much an issue, these interactions, is that if I know the person's a doctor or anything like that, just like in America, it's like, hey, doc, hey, attorney. And then, and if we get somewhat personal, somewhat, like close in a way or casual, then I might just call them by their name. Because they're for sure they're going to call me sir anyway. So we're going to keep it cordial that way to a good degree, unless they start calling me by my first name. And then I know that, there's a mutual respect there. So at the end of the day, if they're comfortable with it and there's that chemistry there for you guys, then boom, you're good to go. But another thing I do here is I use a hierarchy all the way down the ladder. As in, even the janitor, the security guard, I still call everyone sir, ma'am. Here in the Philippines, like kuya, big brother, or if it's an older person, tito or tita. Here, because hierarchies is kind of baked into the culture, people who are not really your family members, you're not going to call them by your first name. It's somewhat similar to like me living in the South, like in Virginia, which is, I don't know if it's really the South, but the South, everyone says, hey, Mr. John, hey, Miss Beth. Everything is sir and ma'am. I know because of the position I'm in, people are consistently looking at me and how I act. So I lead from the front. I make sure that I'm a role model and I act the way I want everyone to act to a great degree. But I don't forget where I come from. I'm saying, many of you don't know, before I became a consultant and executive, I was a security guard, taxi cab driver, janitor, caregiver, so many jobs like many, many Americans. But I don't forget where I come from. The respect that I wanted when I was in those roles, I would have loved to get them from people who were in the society's point of view, higher in the hierarchy. That's one thing that I just have a mutual respect for everyone, and that's something you should take when you're here, especially in business. So the end result for this, for me, my point of view is, it's like authority that feels more human. It's a natural exchange that can build cohesion without having an awkwardness of, like, call me that. Because unfortunately here, it's baked in within the culture already. Conflict is avoided, and that's number 3, huge challenge for me. Conflict is avoided here, and that's a huge challenge for leadership. In the US, we say what we think. Direct feedback, even criticism, is expected. Here in the Philippines, silence can be a sign of disagreement. Nods don't always mean yes. They can basically mean sometimes, I hear you. There have been times I have been here and I made decisions that I thought we were in alignment, but it was a train wreck. Things did not move. Now, to curb that or try to go around that to a great degree, I have found certain things that have helped me with this particular conflict issue here. One of those is anonymous feedback, where the company releases surveys anonymously to kind of gauge where we're at with management, with vision, with mission, and everything like that with all the staff members. Pretty much NPS. One thing that was a game changer for me was doing one-on-ones with every single person in the staff to kind of see where they're at, if they're going to divulge, and just have it as a safe space for them to express themselves. Philippine leadership isn't about volume. It's really more reading between the lines a lot of the times. As in, I have to dig in deeper consistently when I have to arbitrate, mediate, or just find a solution for this particular small fire and try to drive through the point that we're just here, or I'm just here to make sure I hear you out and see where we can get this thing moving. Now, a lot of you Filipinos might get offended by this. I find that many Filipinos here are very emotional. I know here very emotional in the US as well, but I just feel that here it accelerates a lot faster, I believe. Now, in the Western world, it does get, it's kind of like 0 to 100, but 100 is like really bad, like fatal sometimes. But here, it's like a telenovela, like a drama from time to time, to be honest with you. If you like everything so far, hit the subscribe button, the like button on this particular video and help the channel grow. So number 4 is you're going to be battling group thinking versus individual leadership. In the West, it's a bit more individualistic where you're expected to speak up and take credit. Here, it's more a group because people can get easily offended if you don't credit the group here. You'll often hear words like team effort po yan, or let me ask the group first when you're coming up with like game planning. Let me ask the group first. Let me go back to my group and discuss, and we'll get back to you. Now, I'll be honest with you. At first, it comes up very indecisive. To some degree it is. But really, I dug deeper into it. It's more the collaborative nature of the culture here. And now, once again, if I offend you, I don't mean to, but I do. This is what I notice. I do notice that there are accountability issues, because if one person doesn't want to be accountable for it, it spreads to the group. So then the pressure's off. That's one thing that's kind of I'm working on here in the Philippines, about one person. Yeah, like, I mean, you can be responsible for the task, but who's the one person that it falls on if you mess up? That's one thing that I'm working on here, that sometimes it's a hurdle. So to mitigate certain conversation and to just shortcut it or beeline it to the point, I go up to the leader, I ask, they'll usually tell me, or I'll usually tell them. So I beeline it, or I talk to the leader. I say, talk to your group first, tell me what they think, and come back to me within a day or end of day. So I put some urgency on it. So at the same time, it's a consensus, it's a group effort. They have a buy-in to whatever I want to do or want to move forward with. And if it's a win, then the group enjoys it and highlights it. One of the most important key things that I've learned here is that respect is earned by humility, not so much dominance. As in, like, I'm the boss, I'm coming in here, you listen to me, you fall in line. In the very beginning, I was a bit more dominating, I'm so direct, but there's a different way I approach it now versus when I was in America as a manager. Number 5, hustle mentality looks different here in the Philippines. That grind is a lot different here in the Philippines from my point of view. Obviously, there's some nuances. There are some people that actually grind, but this is just my point of view. In the US, hustle is loud. It's out there. Late night, bold moves, constant posting. You want to be relevant, right? And you hustle, you grind. In the Philippines, it's a bit more subdued, a bit more quiet. It's the father being the tricycle driver after the 9 to 5, or having a kiosk at nighttime selling. It's not so glamorous, here in the Philippines. To some people it is. They might have a coffee shop, and if they understand social media and marketing, then they'll push it that way. But for the most part, after the 9 to 5, after so many hustles, or the day job, then a night job comes in where they're doing something, a little hustle here and there. Or it could even be, being a vendor selling skincare like myself, selling something at lunch, or trying to work out deals within your group to buy from you and things like that. Or some people, which I don't recommend in your company, have little lending schemes within your staff. I don't recommend that, but some people do it. What I realized here is that people really work hard here, because even people at 18, 19, even early 20s, many of them are already the breadwinners of their family. So that takes a sense of mind to kind of, because I was talking to one of the managers at work, and I told him that in America, it's not really seen where you see such a young person in college support their whole family. It's very commonplace here. So I noticed that people work very hard here, but they rarely flaunt it, which made me realize, really right, it hit me. Hustling is just not about your effort and making sure everyone sees it. It's about sacrifice and dignity. So I stopped glamorizing grind. I stopped posting things to show people that I work hard. I just put my nose to the grindstone and move. And that's what I got from the culture here. Everyone has a little side hustles here and there, and everything's moving forward, but it's a more behind the scenes rather than up front for the most part. So, when I see this amongst the staff, I reward them, I praise them, because of how they're sustainable they are, how clear their vision is, and what they want in life. And more importantly, how consistent they are when they're just going to the 9 to 5 and then just after that, just going to another grind. I realize that people work and hustle as much here, maybe even more, but it's a lot more humble. So I hope you like that. Those are my top 5 moments that I realized working here in the Filipino culture, things about leadership, growth, and just how they approach work life. Also absorbing the culture here as well. So if you're a Filipino expat or someone who just works Filipinos, don't just copy what you hear and what you see elsewhere. So you gotta listen, adjust, look at your team, and really zoom in and zoom out and make those adjustments and make that cohesion within your team, or within, I don't know how much staff you have, just in general, or just even on a basic level, understanding what you're going into when you're going to a business, even as an end user or customer. And lastly, subscribe for more insights on leadership, the culture, and building your life here in the Philippines, whether personal or professional. If you're building a team here in the Philippines or refining a team here in the Philippines and you want support, I'd love to collaborate. Click the link down below for any consultations or speaking engagements. I'd love to hear from you. Take care, God bless, and I'll see you in the next video. Bye.